Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing a video that my Patreon voted on to go through my physical horror TBR, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read all of these books. I wish I could read them all in the month of October. I need October to be like 3 months long, maybe 4, make it 6, why not? I love October so freaking much. It is the best time of the year. But okay, let's just get straight into this. I hope you're all doing really well. Grab yourselves a beverage. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm feeling very chatty. Let me know, what are some of your books on your horror TBR? Do you enjoy horror? Let's just get into it. I'm going to start off with 4 books that are actually on my October TBR, so I'm not going to go into too much detail because you've already had the October TBR video. I'll have it linked below if you're interested. Fingers crossed I will be reading all of these in the month of October. One for definite, which is a buddy read. I will have Jennifer linked below. Our Share of Night by Marina Enriquez, and this one is translated by Megan McDowell. I am terrified of this book, but also really excited to finally read it. This is a book involving a cult, which I cannot wait to read. We're following Gaspar. His father was part of this order because his father had these powers, able basically to talk to the dead, and this cult was really much like abusing this power, and now they want Gaspar. Very excited about this. I've heard brilliant things about the author in general, and I cannot wait to read this, hopefully adore it, and then I can get into the rest of their work. I know they've got some short story collections and things, so very excited for this one. Then we've got one that I would say is more horror fantasy than anything else, but I have seen a few people put it in their horror TBRs, and that's Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rayford. This one I think is just going to be a very weird and unusual book. We're following Ada, and she was made by her father from the ground, a unique patch of earth with birthing and healing properties, but perhaps he didn't get her quite right. Really excited for this one. It's a short little novella, and I'm hoping it's going to be really impactful. Then we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. This is a retelling of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. That is my favourite play. Okay, I haven't read loads of William Shakespeare's play. Obviously I've read like Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, things like that for school, but one that I actually enjoy reading for my own pleasure is Macbeth. It is my favourite. I have seen an adaptation of that, and I just absolutely adore it, so I'm really hoping that this goes well. I have already read one Macbeth retelling, which was a young adult, not really horror, if anything it was more like a thriller. I really enjoyed that, which is Foul is Fair, and hopefully Ava Reid can pull it out of the bag for this one. I have had a bit of an on again off again relationship with Ava Reid's works. Really hoping this is one that actually, yes, I really enjoy. I do love this cover, and I do love the concept of following Lady Macbeth, and yeah, I'm hoping this one's gonna go really well. We have a cat interruption. She came to say hello while I was filming. I will let you go in peace. I don't think she actually wanted me to pick her up this time, but you've come into the filming, so we must. Anyway, the last one that I'm hoping to read in October is The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. This will be my first Chuck Wendig book, and I'm really excited for this one. We're following a group of friends. We're camping in this woods, I think it is, and there was a staircase that appeared, and one of their friends went up the staircase and vanished, and it's now 20 years later. I'm really excited to read this one. I'm hoping it's really eerie and creepy. I mean, I think it's going to be really good. I haven't actually seen loads of reviews for this book. I haven't seen loads of reviews for a lot of these books apart from Our Share of Night. The rest of these I haven't seen loads of chatter about, but I am very excited to get to this one. So those are the 4 that, fingers crossed, I will already hopefully have read a couple of these by the time the video comes out, and this one I am reading towards the end of the month, so would not have read it by the time this video comes out. But yeah, I'm excited for all of those. And then I thought before I get into the rest of the horror, I would actually go through some gothic classics, because gothic classics are my favourite classics to read. Don't worry, I do enjoy other classics in general, but gothic classics is my first love. Dracula, absolute favourite. But let's get into some of these. So I've got a couple short story collections. We've got Ghosts from the Library. This one is Lost Tales of Terror and Supernatural by Agatha Christie, Daphne du Maurier, Arthur Conan Doyle, and many others. So I'm very excited about this one. I love a good gothic short story collection. I just think they're so much fun, and also, you know, seeing some of my favourite authors write in other short stories that I haven't read yet, as well as being able to discover other gothic classics. Love this. Then we've got one that technically I guess isn't quite horror, but Algernon Blackwood. So we've got Ancient Sorceries. This is a collection of short stories surrounding basically paranormal mysteries, but Algernon Blackwood writing is really weird and it's quite eerie and unsettling, so it's why I'm including it in this. I picked this up because look at this cover, and then I saw it by Algernon Blackwood, and Algernon Blackwood is an author that I discovered last year because because of T. Kingfisher, and I really like their stories. They're very short, they're just like little snippets, but they are so unsettling. So I'm very excited to read this collection, especially because all the stories actually follow on from one another. Dr. John Silence, physician extraordinaire, but he also investigates the occult, and I'm really excited for this one. I really do want to read it. Probably won't get to it in October, but I'm hoping like November, at least across like the winter months. Like I want to be reading it then. This is not like a spring summer book to me, which is so frustrating that I am very much a seasonal reader. There are certain genres which I will read all year round, but there are certain types of books I only want to read in certain seasons, and it's so frustrating because this is the best season to be reading in, and my TBR is too big for this short season. So anyway, carrying on, we have Bram Stoker's Gothic Horror Story. My mum picked me up this one. I think she found it in a charity shop, and I am so excited. There is a mixture of different stories. Some I have read, some I have not, some I'm really excited to read, but there is just a massive mixture. This is going to be a book that I slowly dip in and out of. Love how beautiful this book is. Like honestly, I wish I had more space just to have certain books on display, because this is truly stunning. Like this is like a coffee table book. Look how gorgeous this is, because the only work that I've read by Bram Stoker is Dracula, so very excited to be reading that. Then I've got a couple books by Anne Radcliffe. These are books that I've been kind of terrified to read, but also I've heard nothing but good things. So we've got The Mysteries of Udolpho and The Italian. These are both Gothic classics. These are authors that inspired other workings. So Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey is very much a satire of Anne Radcliffe's works. Like Anne Radcliffe does get mentioned a lot, and that's something what I really want to read Anne Radcliffe, because they're mentioned by other classic authors and their works are still inspiring things today. So I really want to read these so I can fully get the appreciation of what they have attributed to the horror genre, and I can't wait. In The Italian, we've got a monk casts a malevolent presence throughout the book as he tries to thwart the passion of two young lovers against the backdrop of the Catholic Inquisition and the unforgettable scenery of Bay, Naples and the Apennines. Honestly, it's always monks. Monks are always the villain. Like if I see a monk in a book, I'm like, oh, you're the villain. Every single time. And honestly, I think that is just because of The Monk by Matthew Lewis. Brilliant book. Really creepy. Brilliant book though. So yeah, the monk is always the villain. And then in The Mysteries of Udolpho, we are following Emily, who finds herself imprisoned in her evil guardian Count Montoni's gloomy medieval fortress in the remote Apennines. Terror is the order of the day inside the walls of Udolpho as Emily struggles against Montoni's rapacious schemes and the threat of her own psychological disintegration. So I think this is going to be fantastic as well. So yeah, both of these, I am intimidated by both of them, but really want to read them. But again, these are books that I only want to read at this time of year, which honestly, don't take a shot for how many times I'm going to say that, because I think that would be very unhealthy for you, but it's facts. Like this stack of books is a stack of books I only want to be reading at certain times of the year, primarily this time of the year. Also, this lighting is atrocious today because sunny, cloudy day here in England, so it's going to be a bit all over the place. But okay, I've got two more. I think they're actually two more short stories. So we've got Cast in the Ruins and Other Ghost Stories by M.R. James. This is one that I found in a charity shop, and again, I love a short story Gothic collection. I love it. Okay, it's my favourite thing. I really enjoy it, especially like just picking it up, reading a couple here and there. Like these take me forever to get through, but they're not books that I'm trying to binge read. And the same with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Gothic Tales. So very excited for all of these. I think they're just going to be amazing. So we've got a lot of short stories here, but I just think they just hit different. Like I love classic short stories. Like they're so good. Anyway, now we're going to get into some of the more modern day books, and yeah, there's quite a few to get through. Starting off with Carrie by Stephen King. I have yet to read a Stephen King, and yet I've really been feeling the itch to at least try some of their work, and I feel like Carrie's a good one because I mean it's short as hell, and I think it's like the first work or something, but I've also been really tempted to read it, which I'm terrified of clowns. Should I really be reading it? No. There is something about going into this time of year where I'm like, I don't know, this is the first year where I'm like, but I could though, and I'm kind of tempted. It's not gonna happen this year though, because I mean my October TBR is set. It is a massive book. Carrie's not on there, but you'll have to let me know in the comments below where you think I should start with Stephen King as like my first Stephen King to read. I'd be really curious. I don't think I'm ever going to be the person like Gavin Reads It All who is going through all of the Stephen King books. I'm never going to be that person, but I am tempted by this one because it was gifted to me, and also It, which I don't know why, because that's a huge monstrous book. And also The Shining, I feel like that would be a good one as well. So I'm kind of, those are the three that I'm kind of torn between, and I know my library has It, so I don't know, maybe. You'll have to let me know if you think I should give it a try or not. If you'd be interested in a read and vlog around me trying Stephen King, what book would you prefer I read? Like, I would love to know, but I don't think I'm ever going to read all of his backlist. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but yeah. Would I ever watch the films? Hell no. I'm an absolute wuss when it comes to horror movies, but I'm tempted. I'm really, really tempted. I know Carrie is more of like it's a prom night one. We're following Carrie and she's never really been accepted by school. She's always been really bullied, and now she's taken her revenge, which I love that. There's also The Weight of Blood by, is it Tiffany D. Jackson, that's done a retelling of Carrie, which I have been told is excellent. So I am tempted to read that as well. I'm tempted to read a lot of things, but yeah, I have been feeling it, which is surprising. I have never felt a draw towards Stephen King, not once, not ever, and now I'm starting to feel it. Let me know, should I do it? Then we have The Imposium, a health resort horror story by Olga Tokarczuk. So technically this one is a soft DNF for me, but it was because when I was reading this one, I couldn't give it the full focus that I knew this book deserved. I got up to page 90, and this one is a retelling of another gothic classic, and I cannot remember the name of it. It's a huge ass book though. I think it's like, is it The Magic Mountain? I don't know, I could be getting that wrong, but it's a huge ass book. This book was giving me Dracula vibes when I was reading it. Like, I was reading this and I was like, oh my god, that setting reminds me so much of Dracula. Like, it was eerie, the Dracula vibes, and I really want to reread those 90 pages, finish out this book and annotate it, because I want to see the rest of the influences, and I really did like the start of this one. So we're following a main character who is suffering from tuberculosis, and he arrives at this guest house for gentlemen, which is a health resort in the mountains, but then he realizes things aren't quite what they seem, and it is really eerie and unsettling. By the time I started reading this one, I just could not focus. So it's now been a long time since I first picked this one up, but I really want to read it. I think it is going to be really, really good. And like I say, giving me all of those Dracula vibes in terms of like the setting of what's going on. Like, it was so good. Actually, while we're talking about this one, I do have two other soft DNFs that I do want to get round to reading. One is Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. This is one of the few horror books that I actually want to read during summer only. And I did start reading this one, but I wasn't a fan of the writing style. But there's something about it that just keeps drawing me back to this book, so I haven't written it off completely. I think this could be one that I end up really liking, especially because it's weird horror. And the thing is, I will 100% put a book down and then go back to it, and it still work for me, because that's what happened with Bunny, and Bunny is one of my favourite books. So the fact that I first DNF Bunny, then reread it and fell in love with it, it gives me hope for the books. It's not often that I do this. It only tends to be like the horror category, where I actually put a book down and then pick it back up and be in the mood for it. I don't know why that works that way, but yeah, Lost in the Garden is one that I keep being drawn back to. I'm not quite ready to part with this one. I want to give this another try in summer next year. Hopefully I will prefer it then. Like, maybe it was just the wrong time for this. I'm looking forward to giving this one another try. Also, this cover is gorgeous. I'm not ready to part with this book, but in general, I do keep thinking about this book and being like, I wonder what the secret is, because we're following this group of 3 girls that traverse into Almonby, and Almonby is a place where loads of people have been to. Like, it's a folk tale. You don't go to Almonby, nobody ever returns. And so that is a folktale they've grown up with. So now, like, what is in Almonby? Like, I do really want to know, and I think now that I know what the writing style was like, I can be prepared for it. So I do think I am going to like this one upon retrying it. That's another one. So we've got 2, and then I've got one more, which is The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova, and this one is a Dracula historical fiction, and it's very slow. I did start reading this one. I got up to chapter 26, page 211, and I put put this one down just because I wasn't feeling a slow historical fiction book. This is still one I really want to read. Like, I think it is going to be beautiful. I just need to be in the mood for that slower paced book, and I am feeling towards it. So I'm hoping to get this one read again across like November through to February. Sometime in the colder months is when I want to be reading this book. I started this one, I think it was like 2 years ago now, and I did really enjoy what I read. I would need to reread these first 200 pages, and I started folding pages where I was like, oh, there's clear Dracula influence and things like that. I am definitely going to give it another try, and I have heard brilliant things about this book, so I would like to re-go into it and annotate this one. I do know that I really did enjoy what I was reading. It was just more of a, it was too slow for what I was wanting to read, and now I think my mood is like, yeah, I can actually do with this. I think, you know, cup of tea, blanket, slowly making my way through this book is going to be a great thing. I also think part of the problem with this one is I was in the mindset of I needed to read a book inside 1 week for a weekly reading vlog, and this book I just wasn't getting through inside 1 week, so I put it down. Now I'm past that. Like, I really don't care about things like that. If it takes me past and it goes into another vlog, it goes into another vlog. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm a lot more relaxed about it. So that's also another reason why I'm like, yeah, I could easily tackle this one, and if it takes me a month to read, so what? I'm very excited to read this one. I think it's going to be stunning. But we are following a daughter. She finds an ancient book in her father's library, and it all kind of goes back to Dracula, and she sets out on this journey to find out what is actually going on. And it was, I mean, the writing was brilliant. So yeah, very excited to get back to this one. So those are 3 books which I have started, soft DNF'd, but very excited to get through. These 2 very much want to be reading during this time of year, like autumn, winter is when I want to be reading, and then this one will be a summer read. One of the few. But okay, now we can get back into just all the other books which I haven't started reading but are on my TBR. So we've got Her Dark Curiosity by Megan Shepherd. This is book 2 in a series that is a retelling of The Island of Dr. Moreau. The Island of Dr. Moreau is honestly the scariest classic book I've ever read in terms of how unsettled it made me. Like, there are certain scenes in that book which I just cringe to think about. And the first book was a retelling of that book but from his daughter's perspective, and now this one I think we're going to be exploring maybe it's other classics as well. I'm not really sure, but I'm really interested to see where this is going to go. In the first one we are following Juliet, who is Dr. Moreau's daughter, and she discovers his island and the horrific things that are happening on the island. It was a fantastic book and I really need to continue on. Anne Rice, The Wolf Gift. I was very excited to read this book because of how much I loved Interview with a Vampire, but then I read the second book in that series and I just was not getting on with it, so it's kind of made me a little bit hesitant to go into The Wolf Gift, because what if Anne Rice is unfortunately just a one and done author with the Interview with a Vampire. Interview with the Vampire is my favourite book. I love that book so much. It is so well done. I annotated it to death, and I feel like The Wolf Gift is basically just a werewolf version of that book. So I do really want to give it a try. I feel like Anne Rice does a lot of books where it really delves into what it is to be human, humanity, a lot of philosophy, really moralizing on everything. So this is going to be a bit of a slower book, but I am really intrigued. And then Anne Rice has also done a witchy book, which is actually a series on Netflix, which I'm very much looking forward to watching. My sister recommended that series to me. She really liked it. So yeah, fingers crossed. I really like this one. I need to stop putting it off because I know the thing is, it's scary, okay? I loved Interview with the Vampire with my whole chest. It is so good. It is one of my top 3 favourite books, and the top spot changes depending on my mood. At this time of year, I'm leaning more towards Interview with the Vampire. So it makes me scared because then the second book I read by them, it just flopped. I DNF'd the book, and so I'm scared. I'm scared for this one, but I need to get over that fear and just read it. Okay, then we have The Hunter by Julie Lee. This was one that was sent to me by another author, The Cat Bride, Charlotte Tierney. Loved that book, and she said you need to read this book. I'm intrigued. I don't honestly know what this one is about. It says on the back, it's an unnamed man has been sent to retrieve the DNA of the last Tasmanian tiger, an animal previously believed to be extinct. On his solitary trips into the remarkable wilderness, survival skills of every kind are put to the test. I mean, look, it's a tiny little book. It's not going to take me long to get into it. It's also a film, The Hunter. I've never seen that, but I'm intrigued. Okay, I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. Like, if it's been recommended by an author of one of my favourite books of the year, gonna be giving this one a read. Then I've got a book that I found in a charity shop the other day, which is The Spirit Engineer by AJ West. This is a more gothic historical fiction book, but we have the characters like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in it and Harry Houdini, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this one. This one is to do with the occult. We've got different seances and stuff, and it basically, there's something that happens that could the spirits truly be communicating with him, or is this one of Kathleen's parlor tricks gone too far? Spirit Engineer conjures a haunted, twisted tale of power, paranoia, and one ultimate inescapable truth. Very excited for this one. This is one that I had on my radar for a little while, and then I just randomly found it in a charity shop, and it looks to be in pristine condition. So I'm very excited for this one. Not one I've heard anyone talking about, so please let me know if you've read this one. I've been talking for almost 25 minutes. That's kind of crazy, and we still got a few books to get through. So, The Life Cycle of a Moth by Readingearthnymph. This one is recommended by the author of The Lamb, Lucy Rose, and I was like, okay, cool, well, I will keep my eye out. And then I found this when I was in Manchester in this really cute little independent bookshop, and I'm intrigued. I don't know what this one is about. We've got Maya and daughter live in complete isolation in a secluded woodland. Their days aligned with light and changing seasons, a complex pattern of routine and ritual. Daughter has never questioned the life her mother has chosen for them, the life that has meant she has never met another soul or known anywhere except their forest home. I feel like this is going to be quite similar to The Lamb, because it then says, but one day when daughter is almost 16, a red-haired stranger steps into the confines of their territory. Where there were always two, suddenly there are three. So I feel like it's very kind of similar to The Lamb, because we have a similar sort of setup, although not quite as secluded as this book, where we have this mother-daughter relationship that then gets upset by this third person that enters it. So I think we're going to have similar vibes, but I really liked The Lamb, so I'm assuming I'm really going to like this one. This is one that I've not heard many people talking about, so I'm very intrigued by. Then I've got a book that's been sat on my TBR for ages. We've got Julia Armfield's Private Rights, and I've been a bit worried about this one. So I read Our Wives Under the Sea, and I really liked it. I think that one is a really good, haunting book that surveys grief and loss, and it was really well done. Then I read their short story collection, and one of the short stories has lived rent-free in my head ever since, which is Mantis. Then they came out with this one, and I've heard some mixed reviews about it, so I'm a little bit scared. This one is dealing with grief yet again. I think it was, oh yeah, so we've got three sisters who have not spoken for a while, but then when their estranged father dies, it makes them like kind of come together. Something sinister seems to be unfolding, something unrelated to their mother's long ago disappearance and the strangers who have always been unusually interested in their lives. I mean, it sounds interesting, and I was very much looking forward to it. I'm always a bit hesitant because if I've loved an author's previous work, I can then be scared to go into the next work, especially when I've heard some mixed reviews, which I think that's the only downside to BookTube, is being influenced by other people's reviews when you're not sure about a book. It's one of those things where if you see somebody absolutely love a book and then it doesn't work for you, I'm never that bothered over it, because I'm like, everybody reads differently, and yet for some reason I can never get it to work the other way around. When I've heard loads of mixed reviews about something, I'm always like, oh, now I don't know, especially something like this. So yeah, I need to get over that really, because a lot of the time, even though there's mixed reviews and things, I can still really enjoy a book. So I need to get over it and just read it. It's not, I don't think this is going to be like a new favourite book, but hopefully I like it. Then we have one that I'm really excited for, and that's Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. And this is actually kind of contradiction what I just said. I've heard mixed reviews about this book and I couldn't care less because I loved Bloom. I read that one last month and absolutely adored it. Wait, was it last month? No, this month. Right at this, no. Wait, this month for when I'm filming this, last month for when this video comes out. Loved it. Absolutely loved that book. I thought it was brilliant. I loved the twist at the end. I cannot wait to read everything that Delilah S. Dawson puts out. They've even done fantasy books in a different pen name. Really cannot wait to read. I've actually got it saved on my wishlist. I'm thinking to try it as a Kindle book, which is the Shadow series written as Lila Bowen. Really excited. I cannot wait to read it. Like, I'm really, really excited to read everything this author writes, because I mean, the Bloom was just so beautiful, so decadent, and then the twist, oh, amazing. So I'm very excited for this one. This one is more rich people drama from what I've heard. It's a tiny little book. I don't want to know too much going into it. I just know I love Delilah S. Dawson and I cannot wait to read this one, and I really hope I get to it soon. Then we've got a young adult Horror, which is Such Pretty Flowers by K.L. Sierra, and I have had someone tell me that this is really, really creepy, and so I'm so excited. We're following Holly, and she is trying to investigate what the hell happened to her brother, and it leads her down this darker path, and I cannot wait to see what happens in this book. I think the cover is really creepy. I'm hoping to read this month as well for a Relax and Readathon, but we're going to see how it goes. Like, I'm not going to promise. The Relax and Readathon TBR is always really flexible because it just kind of depends what I'm feeling on the day, but yeah, very, very excited for this one. Then we have a book that I've been meaning to read for a while, which is The Bone Orchard, and this one is by Sarah A. Mueller. This one had loads of hype when it first came out, but I never got around to reading it. But this one, we are following the Madam of Orchard House. It's a house where you can basically go and do whatever the hell you want, indulging in every excess and inclination. But we have the Emperor who dies, and he sets Charm out with a tar, basically work out which of his sons killed him. But she has to decide, does she do that or does she take vengeance? Like, we've got a whole thing going on. I'm really excited. Okay, I think it's going to be really dark and decadent, and I really hope I like it. But it is one of those books where it had loads of hype when it first came out, and then I've just heard nobody talk about it. It's just kind of gone into the abyss, but I am intrigued. Then we've got a short story collection by A.C. Wise, which is The Ghost Sequences, and I think it is literally just a short story collection of different ghost stories, which I'm very intrigued by and hopefully I like. I think this one potentially is another young adult, and I just love this cover, how it looks like a skull but it's actually two girls sat. I love it. I think it's great. And then we have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is another young adult horror. We're following a gravedigger, and there's some creepy shenanigans going on. So I'm very excited to read this one as well. The thing is, right, so young adult horror for me is kind of like not expecting it to be a new favourite, although I have had some amazing luck with some young adult horror, but I do think they're always just a good fun time while giving me those spooky elements that I'm looking for. So I'm not expecting it to scare me or terrify me or make me emotional in any way, but I am just looking forward to a really fun, easy read with the spooky elements that I want in this season. So yeah, looking forward to those. Then I've got a book which I think is going to be such a good read, which is The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. This is a vampire book, and I just think there's going to be something beautiful about it. It feels like it's going to be quite another slow, meandering read, but I don't know, I've really got high hopes. Again, this is one that I've just not seen anyone really talking about, but we're following Colette, who is a lonely artist who heads a elite fine art school for children in upstate New York. But she's got like a lot of turmoil because she's got this immortal life and she's kind of struggling with it all. It says here that we're combining brilliant prose with breathtaking suspense. It serves a larger exploration of the human condition in all its complexity, asking us the most fundamental question: is life in this world a gift or a curse? So this is what I mean. I feel like it's going to be a little bit Anne Rice-esque with the morality questions that we're going to get and just the beautiful writing. So I do have high hopes for this book. And then the last two are part of the same series, and it's sci-fi horror, which is Authority and Acceptance, book 2 and 3 of the Area X series. There is book 4 still to get. I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback, and I do really need to continue on. This is actually another one that I started reading, but I was reading it as an ebook on my phone. Like, I'd borrowed it from the library and I was like, no, I need to physically read this book. I really loved the first one, which is Annihilation. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, so weird, so unusual, so freaky, and it was brilliant. So I'm really excited about this, and I do keep thinking about what I read from this first part of the book. Like, we get a completely different perspective shift and we still have no idea what's going on. So I'm very, very excited for this. Basically, Area X is something that happened. There was like this natural disaster thing that happened in this area and nobody knows what's going on. They have sent so many teams of scientists to find out what's going on, but every team that gets sent in dies in horrific ways. We don't know what's going on. The first book follows an expedition into Area X, and this second book we are following someone that actually works for this company, and yet even though they're higher up in management and stuff, they've still got no idea what's going on. They're still kept in the dark, and I'm very excited to be reading this one. This is I would actually say this is a sort of book which I don't care what season I read it in. Most of these I want to be reading across this time of year going into winter, but this is one of the few where I'm like, I don't care what season I read it in. I think it's great. I think because it's so unusual, it works for whenever. But yeah, very, very excited. I actually do love these new covers. I think they're so unusual, and I love like the holograph. Oh, so good. But yeah, that is everything on my TBR. You'll have to let me know, are there any books that you would recommend I try reading? Are there any of these that you think I should be prioritizing? Do let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this is great. I do have more horror books on my Kindle, but there's going to be a video coming out soon where I go through more of those. I just love this time of year. It is the best time of year, and I just think it works so well for getting into some of these more eerie, spooky books. So hopefully between now and the end of winter, I would have made a really big dent in this horror TBR. You'll have to let me know, are there some that you think, excuse me, why is this book not on your list? Do let me know in the comments below. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It truly makes me grateful for each and every single one of you that takes the time to watch these videos, whether you comment or silently watch and stuff. It just means the absolute world. So thank you so much. Extra special thank you goes out to all of my Patreons, and thank you so much for voting on this video. If you ever want to see what extra content you can get from me, then Patreon is always linked below. But I think for now we're going to leave it there. So if you've made it this far and just don't have anything to comment, then we're going to have to leave a skull emoji in the comments below. And just genuinely thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, everything is always linked below for you. And yeah, I will catch you in the very next video.